Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I want to go ahead and shout out Maggie Baruco. Maggie sent me this crazy story, and it's coming out of vicious ass Virginia. So what's going on now in Virginia, you ask? What's going on is that this past Easter Sunday, these people were out in their yards. They were having the Easter egg hunts with their kids, and the mother said that she's seen a few strange Easter eggs that she did not recognize. So when she went to go pick them up and open up the Easter eggs, she found racist messages in the Easter eggs talking about white genocide and the Million White Man March and how, you know, race mixing is horrible and how white people are dying as a race. This whole situation is just a trip. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a news clip right now, and then I will come back with the rest of my commentary.
We're outraged after waking up to find Easter eggs filled with racist notes. Claudia also has this story from the College Hill neighborhood.
You can hit the whole world with the internet. Stay out of my yard.
The Smiths were having an egg hunt with their 3-year-old son. An Easter Sunday tradition interrupted after an upsetting discovery.
My husband noticed the last Easter egg, and I knew that wasn't one of the ones I'd put out. He picked it up, and we opened it, and it's got the white supremacist stuff in it.
Inside the egg was the message, "Diversity is white genocide," saying, quote, "Mass immigration and forced assimilation of non-whites into our lands is genocide."
It's absurd.
Brandon Smith went around their College Hill neighborhood looking for more of the eggs and alerting parents so other children wouldn't find them.
We don't want other kids who can read and being like, "Hey, mommy, what's the Million Man White March?" Or, you know, "What's the White Genocide Project?" Most of us don't want to explain genocide to our 6-year-olds.
It's very disturbing knowing that my son is walking around the yard a lot and finding that, and just that's something that he may find and have questions about, that not necessarily at his age that I want to have to explain to him that there are people in this world who don't think everyone is equal.
They found several more eggs in people's yards, leaving residents in disbelief.
Everybody's shocked. I would say we're genuinely just floored at why would somebody do this? Why here?
Okay, so you guys just watched a news clip, and I just found the whole situation just absurd. You know, first of all, these folks want to keep screaming white genocide, and white folks, you know, are dying in mass numbers due to immigration and due to race mixing. And what's so funny is that Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she had talked about this years ago about the white race dying, and that's why a lot of white folks are so fearful, is because, you know, their race is basically being annihilated. You know, but what I find funny is that these white folks want to talk about white genocide and everything else, but what about the genocide when you killed all the Native Americans who were initially here? You guys killed them, you guys depopulated them, you guys raped their women to make their kids more white. Let's also talk about the genocide of the Aborigines in Australia. You know, for many years there was a whole program where they went in and these white men basically bred with the Aborigine women. They killed the men, they bred with the women to make them a better, whiter race. And each generation these kids got whiter and whiter, and they lost their Aboriginal features. Basically a breeding farm to breed out the Aboriginal genes. You know, so to compare this shit like immigration and people choosing to date outside their race, to compare that to white genocide is absurd to me, when you have a lot of white folks who were guilty of serious genocide in Australia and in other places around the world. You know, I just find this whole situation just kind of sad, and I understand it's not all white folks, you know, who have this mentality. You know, it's just a select few. But I just think that, you know what, at the end of the day, people are going to love who they want to love. If people want to be in interracial relationships, that's their business. If you want to keep the white race alive, you need to make sure that you get yourself with a white woman and white man, and y'all have a bunch of white kids. But you're not allowed to dictate how other people choose to live their lives and who they choose to be with. You know, and I think for them to basically post these in Easter eggs and try and give them to children is insulting. You know, and I feel bad for the kids who had to see this and who had to read this. You know, but at the end of the day, stuff like this really does exist. There's a lot of people out here who are racist. They do not like race mixing, and, you know, it is what it is. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being prideful of the race that you come from, because like I tell y'all all the time, I'm black first. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black woman. I'm proud to be a black woman, and I refuse to allow anybody to shame me about being black and about being a female, point blank. So if they want to be proud to be white and they want to be, you know, white first, that's fine. They have the right to do that. But to compare immigration and interracial mixing to genocide, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to get y'all's life. And I'm gonna need y'all to look up the definition of genocide before you compare bullshit like immigration and race mixing to genocide. Okay? Anyways, go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire vicious situation that's coming out of vicious ass Virginia. All right, deuces.